during every major and when he's not back home playing golf in England. We welcome in Maderas Director of Instruction, Chris Mayson. I mean, you can look at it like lots of storylines or no storylines. How do you look at this, after, I guess, 3 days of golf and 2 rounds?
I know. There was quite a lot of controversy today, wasn't there, with the stoppages, the massive amount of wind. Tiger Woods missed the cut, and obviously Dustin Johnson and Jordan Spieth going at it again. So pretty exciting.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's start with the players. Most of the guys thought they shouldn't have resumed play after 10.5 hours, because, I mean, that's kind of tough first and foremost. And now looking at a player like Brooks Koepka, who just flat out tells these guys, I'm not going to play because these are unplayable conditions. Now, they have a legitimate beef, or I mean, is this a case of golfers being kind of whining about this whole thing?
I think there's a legitimate beef. They obviously had a really hard time starting it off. They were looking at the weather, and the forecast actually looked pretty favourable. And then when they went out there, the wind just kept getting worse and worse. So as they got out there, the conditions became more unplayable. The greens are too fast. Usually they're a lot slower at the links, and it just became unplayable for those players.
This is 2 majors in a row that the players, though, are just sitting there whining about playing conditions. We were just talking about, I mean, yeah. I personally, I would give what I could to play either one of these courses in these conditions. I mean, a lot of people look at them, why are they complaining about this?
Yeah, the guys are used to playing in perfect conditions, and it's pretty unacceptable. But when your ball's rolling away and you've marked it and it rolls 8 feet, 10 feet away, then at that point it becomes unplayable.
Now you teach PGA, LPGA juniors, and so forth. Now, I'm sure you teach them how to play all different kinds of shots, all different types of conditions. Can you teach them to play in 40-mile-an-hour winds?
That's very difficult. Now, obviously, people who grow up in Ireland, Scotland, some places in Australia, they have an advantage and are used to playing in those kind of conditions. In fact, people from Texas here had a usual low ball flight because the wind's so strong there. But it's something that you just get used to. You try and work the ball back into the wind. They say when it's breezy, swing easy, so that obviously helps. But living in a beautiful climate like San Diego, it's difficult to replicate.
You've played the old course.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, part of playing the old course is the wind is a factor in this, and these guys knew that it was going to be like this. I mean, so shouldn't you kind of tweak your game to fit the course versus playing, I'm going to play it this certain way, and this is how I'm going to attack the course?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the guys have been working on their punch shots. They knew the weather was going to be bad, so they knew what to expect. But once it gets to 40 miles an hour and the ball's blown off the green, there's really nothing you can do. And it becomes pretty unfair because the morning flight had already got done. And then this flight, we're out there, 40-mile-an-hour wind, which the other flight didn't have to do, so it becomes a little unfair.
So that's really their beef, is because guys are playing in way easier conditions than these guys are playing.
Exactly.
Now, I mean, I have to ask you, you played the old course. What's it like?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's just the experience is so good. The Americans don't understand the links layout. It's really a wide-open golf course, so if the wind doesn't blow, it's really easy, and that's what we saw on the first day. But now that the wind's blowing, the links are showing its teeth, and it's a lot more difficult to shoot under par. But the St. Andrews, the experience, the town itself is just all golf, and it's just incredible. Highly recommend it.
Let's talk a little bit about Tiger Woods. This was Tiger Woods, I believe, on Wednesday talking about, or Tuesday talking about when, he's not retired yet. So let's listen to this, and I got a question for you.
I'm still young. I'm not 40 yet. I know some of you guys think I'm buried and done, but I'm still right here in front of you. So yeah, I love playing and love competing, and I love playing these events.
Okay, now I once compared Tiger Woods to Michael Jordan playing for the Wizards. Tiger Woods now, I mean, I feel like I insulted Jordan because this guy, Michael Jordan, could at least score 38 points. Yeah. Tiger Woods, you watch him, and I believe they were saying that people were like chuckling at how he was playing.
Yeah, it's getting embarrassing now. So, I mean, even the people that think he deserved it from all the infidelities that he did and not being a very nice person, it's just not even fun now to watch someone who was my hero and such a great player, probably the greatest player of all time, now just struggling to make a cut. And every time you think it's going to get better, it doesn't, and it gets more embarrassed.
Mental, physical, physiological, what is it with him? And I mean, is this, I mean, you teach people, have issues, like, can you fix it?
Yeah. The players that I teach on the PGA Tour series actually hitting it really well. So on the range, it's really good. It's decent on the golf course, but not 100% there. So it seems to me like the demons are mental at this point, and that's going to be tough to get over.
How do you translate, because they showed some video a couple of weeks ago of him on the range, then on the golf course with the same exact club, and the swing was just 100% different. I mean, how do you get Tiger Woods to translate it from the range to the course?
He's an athlete. I watched him warm up at La Costa, and he hit the ball absolutely perfectly, and then went on the golf course and just wailed it around. But that's worked for him. He needs to be an athlete. He can't be a robot. And it seems like he's doing well on the range, but mentally he's not transferring it.
Okay, let's talk about a guy that, speaking of mentally, this guy, nothing bothers him. Dustin Johnson. I mean,
Amazing.
I think it's, the guy basically chokes away, the U.S. Open, and then he comes back, and here he is just cruising at the British Open. Is it his, I don't care attitude, I guess?
Absolutely, yeah. The guy really doesn't care. He's got really thick skin, clearly. I didn't pick him this week purely because of what happened at the U.S. Open. I thought the scar was going to be too big. But he's proving everybody wrong this week, and the course is set up perfectly for him. It's wide open, he drives the ball beautifully, and I think he's got a really good chance this weekend.
Those guys that are like that, is that kind of what you have to have in situations like as a golfer that, people always say, forget about your last shot, work on this shot? Is that the kind of what really worked for him, I guess?
Yeah, the best players I've ever been around make excuses when they don't play well, and then when they do play well, they attribute them to themselves. So that's a good thing to have, and it seems like he's got it.
Jordan Spieth, we've got about 30 seconds left. Jordan Spieth, can he win the third leg of the Grand Slam?
I think he can. He's only 5 shots back. There's a little bit of history there with 3 weeks ago with Dustin Johnson and him coming back, so he certainly has a chance, and he's 2 rounds to go, but I think Dustin Johnson. Okay,
but that's your pick, Dustin Johnson, and why? 15 seconds.
He's got plenty to.
No pressure.
He's got a lot to make up from the U.S. Open, and I think he's going to do it this time.
All right, Chris Mayson picking Dustin Johnson, and we'll have a golf tip tonight at 10 and 11. You can check out. I believe it's something with the bunker, and we'll do it just like that. All right, guys, we'll go ahead and send it back to you.
And thank you, Chris. He's good on camera.
He is.